Sure. Yeah, let me turn this to you.
We admire them.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Tonight we're here not only to hear the regular shiur for Thursday nights that we always have, but tonight happens to be that we're commemorating the end of the Shiva for Tikva Bat Marcel. Amil Tikva Bat Marcel. And this is the older sister of our dear friend Suham Gabifar. Suham has been such an important part of our Keilah for so long. This is the very least we can do, is come together to offer you some comfort, some nechama at the end of the Shiva. We know that how much family means to you. And we find ourselves in Elul getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. And there's no family that doesn't have a tragedy. Whether it's a loss at work, or it's a loss in something that happened in the house, or a loss, the car got damaged, everyone's got something. And this family suffered right now the loss of an older sister. And what it is if we want to be ready for Yom Adin and Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, then we have to look at this time of Elul, and we have to know how important it is to look and to figure out what we need to do. I'll just tell you briefly that last time my wife and I were in Eretz Yisrael, we were there for a short amount of time, but we did a lot of things. And how did we do that? Because we planned every stop, everywhere we were going to go. You know how when you put in GPS, you put in your address, it says calculating? That's what we did. We calculated. And that's what happens. There's a word in this week's Perashah that appears only one time in Tanakh. Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to everyone and he says, Hasket u'shma. Hasket. And most people will say it means stop, pay attention. But I believe it's the Ibn Ezra who says what it is it means have a mental picture of a plan in your head of what you're doing, where you're going, and where you want to be. If you want to get through Rosh Hashanah, you want to get through Yom Adin, you want to get through an Elul, you want to get through a tough time where you lose someone that you love, you have to have a plan. And the plan is you look at yourself, and then you look to Avot, and it tells us right in the 3rd chapter, says you look at yourself and you have to know, you have to know where you come from, where you're going, and what everything is going to be. It's all about planning and what you want to get out of this world. So we thank you for letting us plan with you. We thank you, Suham, for letting us dedicate this shiur tonight in the memory of your sister, and to be able to, all the berachot we said will be for her neshama to have an aliyah. At the end of the shiur, we'll say the hashkava and the kaddish at the end of the shiur. Please, at this point, I'd like to turn it over to our rosh beit midrash, the Max.
Thank you, Rabbi. Welcome to all our guests. And of course, again, the neshama should have aliyah and shamayim for Amil Tikva Bat Marcel. Okay, so tonight, we usually have our Gemara class Thursday nights. And obviously tonight we have an extra big crowd and we have some ladies with us. And so I wanted to choose a topic. We've been doing tefillin for the past month. So today we're going to do something else. We'll do a different topic that I think everyone over here will appreciate. And it's also connected to the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, which is right around the corner. And so let's start. If we start on page 1, you notice on the top, there's nothing like a good... Help me out. There's nothing like a good way to start off with some Greek. So we're actually going to start off with the Greek alphabet. Okay, so we'll see the corny joke. If the Gemara is Greek to you, it's Greek to everyone. Let's read the Greek on top. This is the Greek alphabet. You see over there the first letter, A, B. It looks like an A and B. And then it gets on, and I don't even know how to say all the rest of these letters. I pasted them all for you because we're going to need them.
Alphabet Gamma.
Which one is Gamma? Is Gimel? Is 3? And so on top, we have the Greek alphabet on page 1. Let's read the Gemara. The Gemara is going to be on the 3rd line of this sheet. Gemara Horayot, page Yud Bet, Amud Aleph. Tanu Rabanan, we learned. Ketzad Moshhin et HaMelachim. How did we anoint the kings? How did we anoint the kings? The kings had to be anointed with oil. So the Gemara says, Kemin Nesser. Yeah? The Gemara says, Kemin Nesser. They would put the oil on the king's head like a crown, in the shape of a crown. We have to see what this means. Ve'et Kohanim, and how do they anoint the Kohanim? Which Kohanim? All the Kohanim? No. We're talking about the Kohen Gadol, right, Mr. Dweck?
Yeah.
Only the Kohen Gadol. How did they anoint the Kohen Gadol with the oil? What did they do with? How did they do it? Kemin. Who's reading this word? Moshe. You're nominated. You're always the guy.
Kemin Nesser.
No, that's the Melachim. The next one. Ve'et Kohanim. Kemin.
I can't relate.
Kemin.
Kemin ki mai.
Ki. No. Just one word. Ki.
Ki.
Kemin ki. It's actually not ki. Kemin kai. What is a kai? We make the shape of a kai on the Kohen Gadol's head with oil. What is a kai? So read forward. My kemin kai. What does this mean? We make a kai. Amara minashya bar gada. Kemin kaf yevani. Like a kaf yevani, like a Greek kaf. And I brought the art scroll here because I want to make sure I use their words. I got the right translation. Kemin kaf yevani. Like a Greek kaf. Rashi is on the right side. Kemin Nesser. For the kings, they got a Nesser. The kings, the oil was like a crown around the king's head. The hadale, mush my printer. The hadale, I don't know what that says. Let me read this Gemara here. The hadale, hodrani be'etzba'ateha keklika. He used to make with the fingers a shape around the head. Kimin kaf yevani, and the Kohen Gadol oil was around his head like a kaf yevani, like a Greek kai. Shemathil limshoach be'etzba'ot. She says they started to smear the oil with his finger, between his eyelids, umoshech etzba'o ala rosh, and they would pull the finger with the stretch it like the oil was on the fingers. So the oil would be streaking. And Rashi, if you can make it out, drew an example. It looks like a het, almost like a letter het. Het. And so Rashi is saying that what is a kai? What letter are we talking about here? What Greek letter is this letter?
Kai?
Right? Chai. Chai is a Greek letter, yeah? So Rashi is drawing a het to show you the shape of what they drew, what they put the oil on the Kohen Gadol's head. So what does it look like? They poured the oil here, Rashi's saying, and then if you take your fingers like this, and you go like this straight to the back.
And he's saying.
Yeah, right here. You put oil. Yeah, so you put oil here.
Yeah, and then
you pull it like this,
yeah.
And it's like a het. So we have to find out what exactly is this Greek letter. And so if you look in the bottom, I pasted over there Tosafot Yom Tov from Mishnah and Kelim. There's 4 places in Shas that I know of that it talks about the Greek kai or chai. And one of the places in Kelim. And it says over there, Piresh Harab kai Yevanit Kemin kaf hapucha. A Greek kai is like a flipped over kaf. Really, it should be a bent over kaf, not a flipped over kaf. It's not a normal kaf. In Menachot, he writes that a Greek kai, a Greek chai, is a letter tet. Which is if you stick your thumb out and your pointer finger, you get like a tet. And that would be the shape of the kai, of the chai. Abaraiti says the Tosafot Yom Tov, Ra'iti shete alphabeta shel hayavanim. I see 2 alphabets of the Greeks. One of them is capital letters, it's big. And the other one is small. So I'm reading down here right now. And there's lowercase letters. The 20th lowercase letter of the Greek alphabet, is it looks a little bit like a tet in Hebrew. So let's count it. On top, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think it's the Y.
The Y. Yeah.
So the lowercase y looks a little bit like what is that letter called in Greek? Does anybody know? I have no idea.
No.
I can't read it. That lowercase y looks like a tet. And so he's saying that's the letter. And then he writes a diagram. Tet. And he writes a tet. If you look at the uppercase letters, the big letters in Greek, hashesh esreh. But if you go by the uppercase and you go to letter number 16, so go back 4, that's 19, 18, 17, 16.
Before the P.
Before the P, and I think that's a chai. I think. And that would be like a het. And so we have a dispute. What exactly is this Greek letter? Whatever the letter was that they're talking about is how they shaped the oil on the Kohen Gadol's head. Okay. Let's read more in the Gemara. Let's go back to the Gemara. We're on the Gemara on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line. Tani Hada, let me get mine so it's easier to read. Tani Hada, one Tana wrote, Betehila motzkin shemen al rosho. First they pour the oil on the head. And then they apply the oil between the eyelids. Betana Hariti, and the other Tana holds the opposite. But the now first they put the oil between the eyelids, and then they pour the oil on the Kohen's head. And so it's both ways. So the Gemara says, Tanahi, it's a mahloket, it's an argument of the Tanaim. Some people say the main thing, the first thing to do is to smear the oil. And some people say the main thing to do is to pour the oil. The one who holds that the main thing is pouring the oil. Why is pouring more important than smearing? It says you should pour the oil and then you should anoint him. So the pouring comes first. The one who holds Meshihah, smearing the oil, comes first. By Kaleh Sharet, not by the people, by the vessels of the Mizbeach, everything had to be anointed with oil, not pouring oil. The pasuk says you pour, and first it says pour, and then it says smear, which sounds like pouring comes first. Yonah says no. What is the whole purpose of pouring? Because we want to smear. So the mahloket. Okay. So this is the first.
It still doesn't change the order.
We have a mahloket on the order. Some people say that you should pour first. You pour like this, and then you smear it. Some people say you smear it, and then you pour the oil. You smear the oil like this, and then you pour on top of the head.
You get the oil if you didn't pour it.
Like with your fingers.
That's a Kohen question.
It's a Kohen question. Now, why are we even doing this? What does that have to do with anything? This is going to lead us to the topic of the special foods, the simanim that we eat on Rosh Hashanah night. Because if I asked you, where in Shas does it tell us the order of the simanim, of the foods of Rosh Hashanah? Not Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah. Where in Shas does it tell us the food? You say somewhere in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. The answer is no. It's not in Rosh Hashanah. It's here in Kiritut and Horayot. Two Gemaras, not Rosh Hashanah. Why? It's coming because of this conversation about the oil. We're going to talk about the foods. So it's leading up to Rosh Hashanah. I'll show you. And we'll get more into this that we just said in 1 second, but let's read on and finish this piece of Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught. There's a famous Tehillim. Kashemen hatov yored ala zakan zekana haron. Like the good oil that's dripping down the beard of Aharon. Gemara says, Himin sheneti pe margaliyot hayu tiliot le'aron bezikano. There were 2 drops of oil, like pearls, on Aharon's beard. After he was anointed with the oil, there were 2 drops left over that never left him.
Precious.
One, like precious stones. Thank you. The jeweler. One on each side of his beard. He means Sheneti Pe Margaliyot. Amara Papa says, Tana, Kishehu Misaped, when he, what does Misaped mean? מה? משה רבנו. משה רבנו. כן. Great question.
Yeah, that's why, that's.
Excellent. That's an excellent question. We'll get there in 1 second. Moshe Rabbeinu anointed Aharon Kohen with the oil, and after he was done, there were 2 drops of oil on the beard. Tana, Ezra, you ready? Your turn. Kishihum misaper. When Aharon would, misaper. What does it mean?
Speaking.
Ezra? Let's see Rashi. Kishihum misaper, Rashi says, when he would, it's like 6 lines from the
שהיה
bottom.
מדבר עם אחרים.
מדבר עם אחרים. When he would speak with others, hold on, there's another opinion. עולות ויושבות לו בעיקר זקנו. These drops of oil, these 2
כדי שלא
diamonds,
ייפלו.
would move onto the ikad, onto the foundation, the main part of his beard, כדי שלא ייפלו, so they shouldn't drop down to the ground. And so there's a miracle. These 2 round oil drops, they move up his beard.
Fracking.
ועל דבר הזה היה משה דואג. And when Moshe Rabbeinu saw this oil on Aharon's beard, he was very worried. אמר, שמא חס ושלום מעלתי בשמן המשחה. Maybe I made a mistake and I poured too much oil of the holy oil. You're not allowed to use more than you're supposed to. There must have been leftovers because so much, and it went down to his beard. There should not have been enough to go down to the beard. And so maybe I made a mistake, and ma'ati, I used the holy oil more than I was supposed to.
Rashi says something else.
She said, read it.
שנגעתי בו כשהלבשתיו. Maybe when I was putting it.
No, you're reading the wrong Rashi. That's the next Rashi. That's Aharon.
שמא חס וחלילה אמרתי בשמן המשחה.
No, that Rashi is not going on this. It's going on the next line. Yasetat bat kol ve'amra. Trust me. Bat kol came out and said, Kashemen hatov ketal Hermon. The good oil is like the dew on Mount Hermon. Not Tal Hermon in Bo Me'ilah. Just like the dew on the mountain. You can't be Me'ilah. There's no Kiddushah to a fast that's grabbing onto that dew. Af shemen hamishcha shebizakan Aharon in Bo Me'ilah. So too, don't worry about the oil on Aharon's beard. Now, Moshe, here's your part. Ve'adayin haya Aharon doeg. Aharon was worried. Amar Shema Moshe lo ma'al. Okay, Moshe didn't make a mistake. He's okay. Abalani ma'ati, but I was ma'al. I used the oil of the holy oil for my own purposes. Why? Moshe, now read the Rashi.
What was he supposed to do?
שנגעתי בו כשהלבשתיו.
It touched my clothing, and now my clothes smell amazing because of the oil. It wasn't his fault.
What did he do?
It wasn't his fault. He didn't do it on purpose.
That would have been me love for him.
אבל הלבשתיו זה I dressed
I
him
was
up.
dressed.
Yeah. My clothes touched the oils, making my clothes smell good. Rabbi's right. He didn't do anything with the biyadayim. Maybe on his high level, he was afraid of something. But it doesn't matter because the Rabbi's right. Hashem said, don't worry. Yes. No, the Shemin HaMishcha. Yatzeta bat kol ve'amra lo, came another bat kol and said, Hine ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. Both of the brothers are good. Moshe is clean, and so are you. Ma Moshe lo ma'al, afata lo ma'alta. You're both in the clear. Okay, now comes the next part. And we're going to explain a little bit of this Gemara in the next page, but let's just finish the piece. Tanu Rabbanan en moshchim et hamelachim ela al ha'ma'yan. We only anoint new kings over a spring of water. You cannot anoint a new king in a field, in a cave, in an open area, in a shul. You got to go to a spring of water, and you anoint him by the spring of water only.
כדי שתימשך מלכותם.
רגע. כדי שתימשך מלכותם. Why do we do it? Just like the spring of water never runs out of water, so too the malchut, the kingdom, should never run out. It should always stay. Hold on, Ezra. Shneimad. Who started this minhag, Ezra? The first person was David for Shlomo, not David for himself. David for Shlomo. And we'll see why from the Rambam in 1 second. Vayomer HaMelech, the King David said, "Lahem kihu machem et abdei adonechem ve'oratem oto el Gihon. Go take Shlomo, my son, to Gihon and anoint him as the king, because he was anointed as a king during David's lifetime." Yeah, Adam.
That was after they did the brother.
After the brother, exactly. Which we're going to say in 1 second. Adam. David, remember the story about Sheva? She came in, his son Adoniyahu was challenging.
You promised the kingdom.
Yeah, but he got up. It says he got up and he went.
He had him anointed.
He sent others to do it. But David, he had it done in his lifetime.
Yeah.
Shemuel, yeah. So who started this minhag? David for Shlomo. So Shlomo is the first one. He was anointed by the well of Gihon. What is Gihon? You ever hear of Gihon before?
Huh?
You ever hear of this word before?
It's a river.
Which river? In the Torah I'm talking about.
Bereshit, Gihon, a place. Gan Eden, the Gihon, Bereshit.
Both are good. Okay, both are good. I was looking for this one and that one. So he's saying Moshe is saying it's one of the 4 rivers that came from Garden of Eden. Hold on. Moshe. Here.
At this door? Oh, up there.
Okay, let's finish the piece, huh? It's halacha. Hold on. It's a Gihon. So since David HaMelech did this by the Gihon River for Shlomo, since that time, all the kings that are anointed have to be anointed by a spring of water. Why?
To continue the
Segulot. And so I'm going to ask you, who cares about a segulot? Is a segulot important?
It could be a master approximately Lebanim, although.
Why did he do it? Why did David do it by the spring? Why Dafka by the spring? Segulot. Just like the spring never runs out, it's always running, so too you should always be running and never running. And now that we said this is a sign from the Torah, a source from the Torah of a segulot. In other words, don't just say the Jewish people, they do hocus pocus, they do all these things. The segulot, we do it also. But there's a source in the Torah, Al Gihon. And so once we say this, now the Gemara is saying we have a lot of more segulot we can think about. So the Gemara is going to say right now.
Even the name Gihon means to send forth, to sprout.
Very good. And the Bnei tries to talk about that in 1 second. Amar Abi Ami. So what's guys? Where are we going to? We're going to Rosh Hashana. This is how we're getting
the segulot of
this is how we're getting
the source of the segulot.
Amar Abi Ami. Abi Ami says, "Haiman deba'i lida imasik shate ilo." If someone wants to know if they're going to live the following year or not, would you like to know if you're going to live the following year? I'll tell you a segula. No, one time. No, when he first made him Kohen Gadol. Only when you first become Kohen Gadol or Mashuach. No, in the Midbar he was. Moshe Rabbeinu made the Mishkan.
עד שבנה את המשכן ואמר לו תעשה, הוא ישרת
ביום השמיני, לא?
הוא יהיה כהן גדול, ואז הוא יצק את השם.
Only one time, Ezra. Only one time. When you become Kohen Gadol.
But they made Moshe made that oil with other spices in Sefer Shemot to make that. And that's what they used every time.
Forever. The Shem Mishkan is forever. Okay, so now we have other segulot. So says Rabbi Ami, if you want to know if you're going to live the following year, here's a segulot that you could do. Nitli shiraga. Now, don't leave the shiur now. Wait till the rest of it. So don't all go out and do this. Nitli shiraga ba'asara yomeh de'rosh hashana yom kippurim. Go take a lamp and light a lamp within the 10 days of repentance. The aseret teshuvah. Bebeta delo nashiv zika. In a house where there's no wind coming in and out. So if the candle blows out, you know why it blew out. Because bad minan, you're blowing out, not because of the wind. Bad minan. If the candle burns the whole 10 days and there's enough oil, the Mepharshim say, or it burns until all the oil is used, or it burns until all the wax is used, then you're going to live out the whole year. You're going to make it. Here's another segula. Someone wants to know, I'm going to make a nice business deal. Should I do it? Is it going to be successful? I'll be just in time. I'm going to make a good business deal. Hold on. Let's wait. Hold on. Wait.
It's a fortune teller.
No. We'll get there. Someone wants to say, I want to make a good business deal. Is it going to be successful or is it not going to be successful? Make a segula. What does he say? Am I going to succeed or not? Go raise a rooster. If the rooster grows nice and fat and beautiful, matzlah, it's going to be successful. Okay, interesting.
You have to tell it beforehand.
Very good. He's always on the ball. The Mefashim say you have to do the rooster l'shem this business venture. Yeah, very good. I don't know if sarcastic or it's true, but it's true. It's true. Next segula, and we'll talk about all these in a second. Let's just finish the piece of Gemara. I want to go out on the road. I want to go traveling, let's say a business, I want to go abroad, overseas. Am I coming back home? So the Gemara says, go stand in a dark house. If you see the shadow of your shadow, the shadow of your shadow. That means that there's a shadow in your shadow. We'll get there in 1 second. Let's just take it on the face right now.
I think that we're supposed to do this.
No. I said don't leave until we finish. In a dark room, a dark house. If you see the shadow of your shadow, you shall know you're coming back. You will come back home safely. And now the Gemara says what everyone here is thinking. Velav miltahi. Don't do these things.
Right.
Well, I just pronounced it. I may have just translated that wrong. Velav miltahi, Rabbi.
It is not a thing.
Don't do this. We don't know what's not a thing, so we have to see. One of these things is not good. Dilma hal shadate. This is a beautiful pshat. This is psychology. Gemara has psychology in it. Dilma hal shadate. Maybe you're not going to like what you see, and you're going to become depressed. Umitira mazaleh, and then you're going to make yourself have bad luck if you're down on the dumps. And so in psychology, it's called the self-fulfilling prophecy. You ever hear this one? Self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think it's going to happen, you're going to make it happen. Stop thinking it's going to happen. And so therefore, the Gemara says, don't do it. Because maybe you're not going to like what you see, and then you're going to start acting this way, and then what you were afraid of going to happen is going to happen. Okay, we will talk about this in 1 second, but we need to finish the piece of Gemara. Now, this is not going to be, this is probably going to be a 2-part series with the Rosh Hashanah Simanim. So we'll just read it now, and we'll go into more details about the Rosh Hashanah later. Next time. Amar Abaye says, Hashta de Amar Simana Miltahi. Now that you tell me that Simanim are real, I didn't know, Abaye says. I didn't know there's something called Simanim in Judaism. We go by segulot. Now I have an idea. Translate that exactly. The way you translate this exactly is, everyone should be accustomed to see in the Rosh Hashanah, to see on Rosh Hashanah, to see, Kira, Gord, Rubia, I'm using the art scroll, Fenugreek, Karti, Leek, Silka, Beet, Betamani, dates. Where's the Rimon? Not here. Where's the apple and the honey? It's not here. Where's the Rosh Kebes? It's not here. This is the list Abaye gives you. Again, Kira, Rubia, Karti, Silka, Tamri, Hamseh. 5 things. Okay, Abaye says you should what? See it or eat it?
See it.
The mechazeh, you have to see it. Okay. One more thing, and then we'll move on. Once we're on the topic of omens and segulot, Rameshashia said to his sons, when you want to go learn by your teachers, first study the Mishnah well. You should know what's going on. Don't go in there blind. Study the Mishnah first, and go in and then study. That's just good advice. But when you're sitting before the teacher to learn, make sure you can see his mouth. It's a segula to understand and remember. You should actually see the mouth of your teacher. Don't take the back seat. You should see the mouth. Yeah? Okay. This is the end of the Gemara Horayot. Now, if we turn the page, we have to explain a lot what's going on here. There's a lot of things that we need to go through. Gemara says, first the Ben Ish Hai. The Ben Ish Chai's Yortzeit was what, yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, no? Yesterday was the Ben Ish Chai's Yortzeit. I think yesterday. Yeah. So, Le'elu Nishmat, Rabbeinu Yosef Haim. Ben Yehuda, Ben Ish Chai says, Kesad Moshina to Melachim Kamon Kimin Nezer. We make the oil on the head of the kings like a crown. It seems to me. Hatam de Amru b'Gemara de Shabbat. Nun ne'eman kafuf ne'eman pashut. Two nuns. One is trustworthy, bent, and one is straight out. Pirush. Ye ne'eman kafuf ba'olam. You should be trustworthy and also humble in this world. What does that say? If you do this, then you will also be trustworthy and make it to heaven and to Olam Haba. Therefore, we anointed the kings like a crown. To tell the king, if you're not trustworthy and humble in this world, we're going to take away the nun from the crown of Nezer. You're just going to be a stranger. You need that nun in Nezer. Sounds like a classic Ben Ish Chai, yeah? You're going to be a stranger. You're not going to be connected to the people, to the citizens. You're going to lose the power. If there's a king that's not part of the people, then we're going to get rid of him. So therefore, the nun is necessary for the word nezir. Next one, also Ben Ish Chai. The Kohanim get ki or kai or chai. ועוד יובן גם רמז לו בזה, או רומז לו בזה, שיביט תמיד מאין בא, ויביט גם כן לאן הולך. He should always be seeing where is he coming from, and where is he going, and where is he coming from. והיינו הבטה של קודם והבטה של אחוד. ועל ידי כך ילבש ענווה, ולא יתגאה במה שלא כפרת ישראל תלויה בו. Therefore, we start with the front of the head, you should see where you're going, and then we drag it to the back of the head, remember where you came from. We had a mahloket. What's the main thing? The pouring or the smearing? Says Ben Ish Chai, you need both. The word yetzika is yekitza, wake up. Mishinator, from your sleep. You should be awake and alive serving Hashem with your kingship. No, this is the Kohen. If you take the letters yitika, you make it yekitza, wake up. And with the smearing, it's the same letters. It should be, so Ben Ish Chai is amazing. With words, there's no one like the Ben Ish Chai. Ben Ish Chai also, they didn't have it to paste there, but it was in the Sefer. Why 2 drops of oil on Aharon's beard? Dafka 2. He says, because when Korah came to argue on Moshe and said, I should get the kimunah, not Aharon, Hashem says, have 2 edim. Have 2 edim testifying that the kimunah belongs to him. And he says, Korah saw this, and he still didn't go with it. And that's why Hashem did it.
I think if I could just interrupt, I think one of the reasons why Aharon and Moshe were so concerned about Me'ilah, about we used more than we needed to use, because there was exactly a certain amount, I think 12 log of,
12 log,
yeah. And that was supposed to last forever. And even after they used it, there was still 12 log over there.
What the rabbi is saying is deep, because a lot of the Mefashim ask, and they say, Me'ilah, the violation of using something that's holy, is really only if you ruin what was holy. And if there was extras, as long as you had 12 lug, the shi'ur remaining, who cares if you use some of it? So it's not me'ilah mamash. I didn't paste it here because it's too complicated, but a lot of them say, what's the me'ilah here? So it doesn't seem it was literally me'ilah. It was on their level, they were afraid that they used it. But it wasn't mamash me'ilah, like the rabbi is saying.
Yeah, I look at what really got into just forgetting around.
Yeah, their level, right? Here's a great Ben Ish Chai. This one is
put it back in the bottle. That's the truth.
Yeah. This one is a little bit not rated G, so we're not going to translate every word on this one. It says in Ben Ish Chai, the drops went up when he would talk. Rabbeinu Gershom doesn't say when he would talk. I'm going to show you another Rashi. Rashi in the other Gemara Kiri 2 says maybe it means kishum mistaper, when he was taking a haircut and he was cutting his beard, so the drops went off, so he had to cut them off. That's Ibn Ishai. Misaper means being with his wife. A lot of times in the Gemara it uses this word misaper. When he talks to me, it means when he's mishamesh. A lot of times when we talk about tashmish hamita, we use the word misaper. Since during tashmish his oil is going to be pushed up, yeah. לכן בשעת תשמיש עולות ויושבות בעיקר זקנו להסתתר שם בתוך שיער זקן, כדי שלא יהיה טיפות השמן הקדוש נוגעים בבשר אשתו. לכן יושבות בעיקר זקנו להתכסות שם בתוך השיער. And I love how he ends the Spanish high.
That's why they use the sheet.
יהי רצון זכות אהרון הכהן עליו השלום יגן בעדנו אמן כי יהי רצון.
Very nice.
Spanish high, beautiful. Spanish high also says, yeah. Spanish high also says, but a couple of people. So okay. So I asked what Gihon was, right? Gihon, you said it was the spring in Adam. You said it was the spring by the Yerushalayim.
The Beit Mikdash is what they used to clean up the Mizbeach.
Very good. So Spanish high says, why do you have to bring me the dew of Mount Hermon? You could just said any dew in the world is not Me'ilah. Any dew is exempt from Me'ilah. Or Geshem. And so he says, Mount Hermon doesn't mean Mount Hermon. It means Harabayit. And therefore, what's the pshat?
Of course.
He says, yeah. He says, Harabayit, the drips, the water, the dew, under Harabayit, there's a halakha, the whole Harabayit is kadosh, even all the way down. That's why we can't go certain points in the tunnels, right? All the way to the core of the earth, the Harabayit is holy. And so it says, the dew should also be kodesh. And so when the dew evaporates and goes to the clouds, does it lose the kedusha? Or it should always. And so Ben Shai says, you might think so from the Tehillim that the dew, any dew on the Harabayit, any rain near the Harabayit, off limits, says the Ben Shai, no. The dew is off, even the dew. And says the Ben Shai, Hashem evaporates the dew from the Harabayit and he uses it to give shefa to the whole world. Unbelievable thought. Whenever it rains, who knows where Hashem puts this dew that evaporated from the Harabayit? Maybe he scatters it everywhere, and that's how he rains. So the rain here maybe is like a 1% from Harabayit in Yerushalayim. Says Ibn Ishai, it didn't have an Sefaria.
The line,
Same line. So we for sure have some.
I don't know if that's actually true.
He's the realist. Where's Avi?
You know that if Aaron was the only Kohen Gadol that the soil stuff happened to?
No, he was not. Any Kohen Gadol, any Kohen Mashuach Melchama. So some Kohanim were only.
That was a different one. I think that was a different oil. Mashuach Melchama.
Oh, you're right. It was a different oil. Probably right. This specific oil, I think all the Kohanim did.
Kohen, and after him was Elazar.
What's the Mashuach Melchama?
No,
different oil. This oil was only for
the beard was only a
and for Melech.
What happened to him?
So what happened with the other Kohanim? Sorry.
No, they got it also.
Only Kohen Gadol.
But the Kohen Mashuach Melchama, I think that was a different side of a different jar. I think King Yehoash hit all that stuff.
Now?
And,
probably in the Vatican?
Together with the Aron. No, they hit it. Yoash hit it.
Yeah, it's hidden somewhere. Because Yoash, the Gemara brings Yoash, there's a whole question if they have. The rabbi brought up Yehoash, Melech Yehoash. There's a massive mahloket whether Yehoash had the Shem HaMishcha, was it hidden by his time, was it not? Let's move on because I want to cover. One more Benish High. Two more Benish Highs. Guys, Benish High says, En moshhin et melachim ela ala ma'yan. You only anoint the kings on the river, on the stream, on the spring. By the way, we're going to read Rambam in a second. So the halakha is not every king, but let's read this Benish High first. Gihon hayotze me'eden ayen sham. Rashi says this is not the Gihon; it's from Eden. It's not the same one Rashi says. It's not the Gihon from Chumash that came from Garden of Eden. A different one. Omashi Amar Harama, but the Rama, not the Rama Isilis. The Rama would say, hey, Shezeo Gihon Hayoseh Me'ed, and he argues on Rashi on page 3 on the bottom. And he says, this is, I think I cut off the word in, Rabbi. And he says, this is the Gihon from Gan Eden. Zeu Dabat Hema. It's unbelievable. How could you say that David HaMelech sent Shlomo to the actual Garden of Eden Gihon to be anointed? I don't even have to explain to you why it's strange. Ach yitachon, says the Ben Ish Chai, lomar shezeh ma'ayan hakatan, ma'ayan hakatan she'etz Yerushalayim. This is that little stream, that little spring in Yerushalayim. Mayim shelo ba'im min gihon hayotzeh me'eden ayedem mechilot tachat hakarka. Like these guys are saying. V'kimehu bekach v'Hashem zeh karu et ha'mayan hazeh gam ken b'shem gihon. Says the Ben Ish Chai, there's little streams of water that take water from the actual Gihon in Garden of Eden underground. I didn't paste it all and bring it to that Gihon. So both Gihons are the same water according to the Ben Ish Chai. The bottom Ben Ish Chai that I couldn't paste says, why do we have these segulot? If you want to know if you're going to make it, take the candle and put it in. We know Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. And so the shemen, the oil, represents your neshama. And therefore, the Mahasha says, if the oil, it goes by, if the candle flickers, not only if it goes out, if it flickers, you don't want it to flicker, says the Maharsha. And what about the rooster? A rooster is called a gever. And a gever is a person. And that's why you want to use the word rooster. And that's why we use roosters for kaparos. Okay.
For men.
For man. Okay, one more piece, and then we'll finish it next time. This.
We don't practice. It's something we just do.
So it's on the list. It's on the list here. You may have to come back next week to see what we do halachically. It's on the list. We have to just get there. There's another Gemara in Kiritut that has almost the same Gemara that we just read, but a couple of differences. I'm going to show you now. This one over here is in the first wide line on page 4. And over here it says over here, by Rosh Hashanah, let's see, where is it? It's all towards the end. Machutan.
Taking the kings.
Hold on. It's on the second part. If you look, I pasted 2 Gemaras, the first one and the second one. The second one, page line 4. Line 3. Amar Abaye, hashta de amata simena miltahi yeragil inish. You should eat the simanim. The first Gemara, same guy. So the first Gemara says you should see the simanim, and this Gemara says you should eat the simanim. Should you see the simanim or eat the simanim? Which one is it? Also, Rashi and this Gemara, look at the left side on the second Rashi, on the top left of page 4. Kimin Kai. He says a different thing in this. He says, Ot Yavanit is a Greek letter. Ve'asui kazeh, X. The first Rashi in the other Gemara said it was like a hayat or a tet. Now it's an X. Which letter is the X? Go back to page 1. I think that's the chai of these days. Yeah, X is in the bottom row of the Greek letters. The second on the bottom row.
Sure.
That's a chai.
Sure.
You know that from math, from geometry? Which math was it? We learned it something. In one of the classes, we had the X. And so that's a real chai. So our Rashi and this Gemara put the X.
They take it like this.
So how would it work? So you would take your fingers.
Over.
If you take your fingers and you go like this and like this, like with your fingers like this, you could X your head all the way to the back. Hold on. And so there's another difference in Rashi. Hold on, we'll see it in the Rambam. Okay, let's read the bottom. Let's wrap up quickly. V'lechem masot. This is, I pasted 2 Pesukim, Rashi from Sefer Shemot. V'lechem masot, v'halat masot b'la b'shemen, u'rchike masot b'shem b'shamen. And everything was anointed with oil. Rashi says, Kimin kai yevanit. Like a kai, she asuya kinun shelanu. Now it's a noon. What is it? Is it a het? Is it a noon? Is it X? What's going on here? Look at the next Rashi. You put it, you smear it on his head. That seems like an X. And so I just want to read you Rambam. Rambam is on the next page, and then we'll finish. This will be the last page for today. Rabbeinu Gershom says, Kimi Nezer. You first smear him on his forehead, me'ozin from ear to ear, ve'orpo on his back, ahorav. Kilomar, sabiv, kimin kayavanit hayet. Rabbeinu Gershom says it's a hayet. Kach. Mina metzach agabe arosh ad ha'oref. Ramban Nachmanides, on this Rashi that I just read to you, Amanabi Abraham, which is the Ibn Ezra. Kai zeh lifnei sumo hamistefat adosho. They smeared it before they put the hat on his head. And nobody asked this question. How'd they put oil, Ezra? How'd they put oil on his head? He had mitznefet on his head. And so the Ibn Ezra says, first they put the oil and then the mitznefet. He rosh atzmo yatzuk Hashem, they put it on his head. Ve'eninu nachon be'enai, says Ramban. Ramban says, no way. He gam b'ma'aseh amad v'yasem et mitznefet adosho. And so therefore the mitznefet was on and then the oil went on. How? He says, Abalanachmon, third to the bottom line of the Ramban, the middle of the mitznefet was open on top of the head. If according to the if it's like Rashi said, then they must have started here by the tefillin. Because he had to leave that space open to put tefillin on. Kaf yavanit, like a kaf yavanit. Rambam, yeah.
So he gives in the Rashi.
He gives in. He says,
by
if you're right,
but doesn't want to give him credit.
Yeah. Let's see the Rambam. We have Rambam, Bekatashir, one more Rambam for today. Kesad moshhin et kohen. How did they smear the kohen? Sakit Hashem al rosho v'sak mino al gabi enav kimin ka yavanit kaze X. Rambam puts a chai. Shneimar v'yisak shem mishcha rosho. Kings got a crown. The Gemara says, I'll tell you out loud, not every king got smeared. Only David HaMelech's children from Beit David, and only if there was a challenge to the kingdom, like Shlomo, just like Shlomo. If no one challenged the king, there was no need to smear him with the oil, says the Gemara. Shlomo, there was a challenge. No, Shemuel used the keren. No, Shemuel is completely different. He used the keren. Ken? Bayarim keren mishiho. Rabbi, where did you get that oil from, Shemuel? I think it was the oil. Shemuel's oil. Yeah, Moshe's oil.
Yeah, it was the same one.
Yeah. Huh? Keren. Bayarim keren mishiho. That was only Shemuel. Okay, hold on. Rashi, Bechat Asher al Torah. This is basically, he's going to sum up all the confusing conflicts of what this letter was. Look at the Mishnah, Mesechet Menachot, Moshhin Kimin Kai, Ve'asha'an Echlin Negonim. Says the Gemara, Amerikana Kimin Kai Yevani, like a Greek Kai. Pinchas Kehati, Bepirusho, Mefaresh, Bepashtut, X, Kerambam. The Kehati says the X. Check out the drawing of Rashi. Defus Rishon, Uksat Kasha de I don't know what that means. It's a problem according to Rashi's illustration, maybe the word means. You need to understand Greek. According to my humble opinion,
to use
Greek. According to my humble opinion, it seems like a Rambam, kaf, or het, or tet, or nun, he's going all the different pshatim. If it's a kaf, a tet, or nun,
then you don't need Greek letters. You can say the Hebrew alphabet.
Exactly. You read this? Lo haya nizakek li'avanit. What do you need a vanit for? If it was a nun, just say it was a nun.
To say nun, chai, which is like our nun.
Right, and this was his question. Mr. Dweck, you wanted to know, why do we have to use Greek letters? Because there is no Hebrew letter in this shape that we need to describe.
And X.
X, there is no X. He says over here, in ot kazot v'lashon hakodesh, there is no X in Hebrew. Okay, let's see the last piece. Rambam. In Moshhin, X is the aleph.
Not really. It's not a straight X.
In Moshhin, tell me the last one. En moshchin et hamelech ela al gabei ha'ma'ayan. We only anoint kings by a spring. Then moshchin melech ben melech. We don't anoint a king, the son of a king. She'amachut Yerusha l'melech le'olam, which is an inheritance from his father. That says, Hu bana v'kerev Israel. You don't have to anoint him. If there's a dispute over the kingship, מושחין אותו כדי לסלק המחלוקת, להודיע לכל שזהו מלך לבדו. כמו שמשחו, this is Gemara, straight Gemara, Rabbi right ahead of us. כמו שמשחו שלמה ובנחלוקת אדוניהו. ויואש מפני עתליה, Yoash, this is what Rabbi they said, what do you mean Yoash? Yeah, the oil, there's the whole thing. ויואחז מפני מלכים אחר. וזה שמשח אלישע ליהו לא בשם המשחה משחו, אלא בשם הפרסימון, it was a different one. ודבר זה מסורת ביד החכמים. And so therefore we'll stop for now. We'll continue next week. We're understanding here, there's something to a segulot. We have to understand, the question that we have to start with next week is, I thought you're not allowed to do nihush. I thought you're not allowed to do suspicions and
strings.
what's the word for nihush? All sort of, I thought we don't do this stuff.
Superstition.
And so therefore we have to draw a line and say which segulot are allowed and which are not. And Rosh Hashanah is a proof. Yeah, Rosh Hashanah, and I'm going to bring you some more here from the Gemara, more examples of segulot that we do. Next time, that's it for now. First, okay.
Okay, we're going to ask, so we're going to ask you to stand. We're going to say the memorial service before the Kaddish.
אשת חי נמצא ורחוק מפניך שקר אחר והב ליופי. אישה יראה אדוני התתעלל תנו לה מפני ידיה ויהי לה אשר מעשיה המרחם.